my story actually has 3 titles. The Trunk, I'm Crazy and I'm a Liar, my mother said so, and 3 Crayons for Me. So my story is I was the last of 6 kids. And so I was the last one to go off to school. And the part about that was hard is that I was afraid to be home alone with my mother. My siblings went off to school and I was about between ages 4 and 5. And by then I had already become vigilant of watching my mother's moods. And I knew the days when it would not be good. Her eyes would get hard and her voice would get snappish and her lips would get very thin and pull down into a frown. And I knew it was going to be a bad day for me. On those days, my mother decided that I was a nuisance, I was too naughty, too messy, and too whiny. And what she would do then is that she would either pick me up on her shoulder or she would take me by the hand and walk me down the basement stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, there was a big trunk, old and dark and brown, the kind of travel trunks that antiquers have fallen in love with and spent a lot of money for. I knew what was coming. And my mother would lift the lid of that trunk and lift me up and put me inside. And she would tell me what a bad girl I was and that I was going to stay in there until she came and got me. And then she would close the lid. The trunk was empty. The sides and the floor of the trunk were rough and it was cold and it was dark. And I was about 4. And I remember, that's why I got so nervous in telling this story today. All these emotions came back. And what I felt, fear. How long was I going to be in this trunk? Would she leave me there forever? Was I going to die? I felt such sorrow. My heart just broke. That my mother would take me and put me in this trunk and leave me there alone. And I felt hopeless. I felt guilt that I was a bad girl, that I was too whiny and too needy, and I could list the things. I needed to eat, and I couldn't fix my own food. I needed to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't really manage it all by myself. I needed attention. I needed some kindness. I needed some love. And you know what? I did get whiny. I would cry. I would be whiny, and I would be a pest. Then, after those feelings, I would get angry. Good mommies don't do this to their kids. She's a bad mommy. And I would think there's something really wrong with her, and that would make me even more afraid that there was something wrong with my mother. Then again, I would, right after that, feel guilty. I was a bad girl to feel those things for my mommy. I should be taking better care of my mommy and love my mommy. And I felt disloyal. So in there, in that trunk in the dark, I can't say exactly how many times this happened, but it happened enough that I held in my hand and hid from her 3 little crayons that I would take with me into the trunk. And I would scribble on the sides and on the bottom, and I'd make pictures of cats and dogs and trees, and I'd try to write my name, but I couldn't really write my name right because I was too little to really know how to do that. But I held onto those crayons and I colored in this trunk to prove I existed. I was there. This was real. I was real. And I would color away. And like I said, I don't remember how many times my mother put me in the trunk. I do remember one day my brother, he was 11 years older than me, came home early from school and came down into the basement, lifted the lid and got me out of the trunk. And I wondered, how did he know I was there? But he also became a hero for the rest of his life in my eyes. So as time went on and I became a young girl and a teenager, I asked my mother about this trunk. And that is when she gave me the title of being crazy and a liar. And she was very vehement about it. The thing was that my siblings, the 5 other kids in the house, they agreed with her that I was crazy and a liar. Until the day she died, she continued with my being crazy and a liar, and my siblings went in with that on her. And to this day, my relationship with them is a polite distance. It's easier for one person to be crazy and a liar than to say that your mother did things. But what came out of that for me, as I grew older into an adult, and after years of pills and booze, boyfriends, therapy, personal growth, spiritual awakening, what I came to understand is I am real. I stand on my own 2 feet, and I know what I know, and I am a witness. So I learned to create soft places to land when I'm wounded. I created a new tribe to belong to. And I also always carry 3 crayons for myself. Thank you.